All right, next installment of building my 8/8 rear axle to go drag racing in my notchback Fox body that we have over here. We're going to weld the axle tubes, okay? This is the first thing that pretty much everyone does. The F-150 guys do it, the Mustang guys do it, everybody does it. Whenever you get like the 65 Mustang, 4 9-inches, they weld those axle tubes as well. Like, it's, if you're gonna go put some serious torque down, and if you're gonna go run some 1-2 60-foot times like we plan on doing, you need to have the axle tubes welded. So why would you go ahead and have these axle tubes welded in? Well, short answer is because the factory's design is just pressed in, and when you have a hard load or huge amounts of torque that gets applied and then you have a good sticky tire, what's going to end up happening is those tubes will rotate, and then that throws off all of our suspension geometry because these are lower control arm brackets. This is where our shock's going to be mounted. The spring's going to be down over here. You're going to have your upper control arms connected over there, and it would put the whole rear axle completely out of whack, and that's not going to be any good. Welding these axle tubes will only stiffen this whole setup, and a stiffer rear axle with the suspension, you know, not getting twisted up on the tubes because they're only pressed in. Now they're going to be welded in, so we have no movement there. That means we'll get much better consistency out of our launches, our 60 foots, and that's just going to set us up for a very fast, quick future in drag racing. First thing to do is let's go ahead and strip off all the paint, get down to bare metal on both axle tube ends. Alright, got one side done. Get the other side. So, rolling out the welding stuff. Go ahead and see if we can't get some amperage in here. Should be good. Now, this is some pretty thick stuff, but you have to keep in mind that this is, as you can see, cast. Before I really start welding and putting some heat into this thing, we're going to wipe this down with some acetone, but I've got a map torch because we have to get this heated up before we light our torch up on this thing, because cast iron, if you heat it up too quickly and cool it down too quickly, it will crack, and we do not want that. Don't want that at all. So you got to make sure that you are careful with the heat, with slowly introducing it and then slowly taking it away. Usually letting it naturally cool is fine, especially today is like a 75-degree day. But we'll go ahead and wipe these down, get them cleaned up, and then we're going to put some heat onto it. So I have this thing wiped down. Now, we don't want to just go straight to welding all the way around and stuff. So we're going to quarter this guy up and put some marks so I can kind of see. And that way we know where to stop our welding. So that we don't put too much heat into it and warp or pull the tubes or anything like that, because we want to try and keep the bad boy straight. There you go. clean that one up. All right, make sure you're alternating sides as well. Keep that heat. All right, so we got a nice little pass there. Let's get our wire brush, clean this bad boy up a little bit. See if we can't, we gotta make some more passes on here. We can't just do the one pass. That ain't gonna cut it. Need that into it when we get the welding. So, I'd say that don't look too bad. I'm not a welder, but hey, looking pretty. We got plenty of coverage. I know we got plenty of penetration. Both sides evenly welding this thing because we quartered it out. And that way you weld over here, then you weld over here, then you spin it around, weld over here, and then you spin it around, weld over here, weld over here, and then we spin it around, then we weld over here and weld over there. So it keeps the heat and the pull from the welding as even as possible. And I know it's probably hard to see in the video, but we were rolling. Like, we didn't stop, we just kept going and trying to keep you know, back and forth even as possible. So if you look down on the rear axle, to me, I can't tell any type of bowing or anything like that. Because like if you look down it, it's straight as an arrow. You can see where I've started and stopped. So I think we did pretty good. I'm pretty happy about it. It's been about 2 minutes or so, 2-3 minutes. I'm not trying to keep heat in there, but just trying to slow down the rate of the cooling. Because we just can't have that material cool too rapidly, because then it'll crack and then undoes everything we just did. There you have it. You're smart about it, you plan out the work, you get good momentum, and you're set up just right. Then you can do all this just like I did right here. For the most part, you know, we set it up, we made sure everything was straight, we tacked it strategically, and we did it quickly so it wouldn't pull or had the chance to pull too badly. And then we just, like I said, in a certain sequence in order to tack it. And then when we had it all tacked, we did the same thing where we followed a certain sequence for welding it up, because we quartered each side. We applied the heat evenly. We went opposite sides, so it would, if it pulled one way, it would pull equally the same way immediately right after, you know, that would be welded out on, say, you know, 3 o'clock position to 9 o'clock position, then from 12 o'clock position to 6 o'clock position. So we made sure that all that was done in such a sequence that we shouldn't have pulled it and it come out of being true, which I'm pretty sure to the eye it looks like it's pretty darn straight. I did put a straight edge on it. You can't, it's pretty darn straight. So I can't see it. I can't see it to the straight edge. I'm sure if I measured it, it'll be just a smidge or, you know, a tick mark off, but that kind of tolerance we can live with. So stay tuned, because the next video we have a big old stack of parts for us to choose from for our next step. And trust me, to get this thing battle ready, I mean absolutely braced from top to bottom, left to right, and for it to handle stick shift, small tire drag racing with approximately 9 to 1100 horsepower, depending on wherever we set the boost controller at, we're going to need this thing to be prepared for just about anything. No prep, sticky prep, track prep, whatever the case may be. We want this thing to handle it all. So again, I appreciate you guys watching. Hit the like button. Comment your thoughts. Did I screw up by not putting this in a jig and bracing it down, bolting it down? Let me know, because I think I did all right. And did I weld enough? Like, is there enough passes on these things? Because that looks pretty good to me. Anyways, if it's your first time here and you want to see more of this stuff, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to see these videos earlier, then you could become a $2 a month member, which is an enthusiast level, where you can see all of the videos released immediately. And of course, there's different levels with different perks. If you want and can contribute more, but you'll still get that early access to all the videos, and I greatly appreciate it. That's what helps, you know, pays for a big stack of parts, helps us keep trucking along in the garage, building stuff like this, and it's going to get us out there racing. So thank you very much. I'll see you guys later.